guys, Rick Shaw here again, enjoying this beautiful sunshine, and we got some really nice clouds going on today. And it's just a fabulous day. We got a little bit of a breeze, but I've been watching a lot of the YouTube guys that moved and lived here just like me, and I do believe if you come here you should have a minimum of 1,000. I mean, for a couple, that way you got plenty of money to do everything. But when I came here 7 years ago, I budgeted out $500 a month. Just because I saw, before I came here, I saw a lot of people on the internet saying, you know, that minimum's 1,000. Okay, let's see if I can do it for half. So for the first year I was here, that's basically all we did. Now, when I came here, though, one thing, I didn't have any rent because we bought a house outright for $8,000. Okay, so that was pretty cheap. And I also bought a Kawasaki Bajaj brand Rouser 135. Now, the house we lived in, it had no hot water, no setup for it. You basically washed your dishes in a bucket on the floor. You know, there wasn't really any kind of sink that worked. And the way they put the water in the wall, any kind of water pressure that was higher than a foot off the floor, it didn't come up. It wouldn't come up that high to the sink. If you had a garden hose and the water did turn on for only 4 hours a day, if you raised that garden hose up more than a foot off the floor, the water stopped coming. It was all gravity fed, and that's just the way that was. So it was Tabo, and we filled 55-gallon drums. We'd have to fill a container and then lift it up into the drum and fill up our two like 50-gallon drums that we had. Now, basically, it was like camping. It was a 450 square foot house. You know, we just had a mattress on the floor. Now, we did take trips. You know, we were very frugal. The last trip I even took with the family, we stayed on the beach in a tent, you know, just to keep prices down. I don't like to spend a lot of money on this stuff. But my wife and I, when she was pregnant with my daughter Dorothy, we jumped on the Kawasaki and we took a boat over to Mindoro. We stayed with, visited a friend of hers because she lived there when she was young. Stayed with a friend of hers for a little bit, a week or so. We traveled all the way down to the southern part of the island. We came back up and stayed a night or two with her sister and husband. And then we stayed with a guy they call Uncle Pruding. He's not really an uncle, but they call him Uncle Pruding. Really cool guy. He lives out in the place that it's an old pumper well. There's no electricity. You know, it's like a big hut. And mosquito nets are the rule of the day there. National bird of the Philippines is the mosquito. I still say that. I'm just teasing you guys, but I did it. I did it for a whole year on $500 a month, and we didn't go over. We didn't have a lot, but there's places you can eat. We got a place that makes this beef bulalo. I believe that's how you pronounce it. You get a big old bag of this stuff, plastic bag. It's got a lot of meat in it, a lot of vegetables, ginger and all that, and then they give you a little tiny thing of rice. You put in your bowl and you dump that in. 50 pesos. You know, so we can't cook it for that. Now we like eggs. We ate a lot of eggs for breakfast. Fruit. You know, we got a lot of fruit cheap. We didn't go to the big markets. We stayed away from the big stores. There's a lot of these little roadside. There was like the sucats. They're like a big thick-skinned grapefruit. I love the things. Pink ones, the yellow ones, doesn't matter to me. I eat the heck out of them. Well, coming from GMA to where we lived in the circle, there was always a lady on the side of the road. They had a tree, and she would sell them for like a third of the cost as anyone else. So we always picked them up there. We always made, every time we went by there, we'd stop. There was another place that always had a good deal on bananas. You know, some places they want, 80 pesos a kilo, 65 pesos a kilo for bananas. We found a place where the little old grandma woman and her daughter they sold bananas. They had a little banana farm on a back road, and you could get them for like 30 pesos. Hey, be careful in there, buddy. Hey, get rid of the sticks, please. I don't want somebody's eye getting poked out. Maddie, you get rid of yours also. Kids playing in the back of the ape. But that's the way we did it, and I don't regret it. We were able to do it for a whole year. You know, we don't do that now, but I just wanted to go and prove that it is possible. I mean, if you come here, if you're a single guy and you're going to marry a Filipino, You can't. You can make it on 500 because I did. I did it for a whole year. Now, if you got the money to buy a house, now with the rent, if we had to pay rent, yeah, it depends on what your rent is. But you can rent real cheap too. You can rent for, heck, you can rent for 20 bucks a month in some places. Now our place was, it was down with the people, tricycle drivers, nothing fancy, and I really didn't mind it. It's camping. It basically was camping, and you guys can do it if you want. And I didn't have a problem with it. My wife didn't seem to have a problem with it. And then the kids, of course, the kids come along, but we still were able to get out and do stuff. So it can be done. That's just my little thing today on that. It's cheap to live. Back then we always ran a fan. We run a fan all the time, mainly not to keep you cool, but to keep the mosquitoes off you. And so a fan's something you gotta have a good fan, and we run them all the time. Sometimes we run 2 on us while we're sleeping. But in the day, no, we don't really run them. It's not as hot here in the Philippines as a lot of people will make it out to be. I hear Filipinos all the time saying how hot it is and all that, but I really haven't gone into too many days where, it's hot all day. One thing about here in the Philippines, it's not like the U.S. where I lived. It would get dark at 5:30 in the winter time, and sometimes dark at 9 o'clock at night in the summer. So summer days just don't cool off. Here it's always dark around 6 or so, year round. And once the sun goes down, it cools off. Now you get hot times during the day. A lot of Filipinos will go in like in Mexico and they'll have a siesta. They'll go sleep. Just go take it easy for a while, take a nap. Now I like to be out in the sun. When it's real hot, I like to get in and soak it up with all the trouble I got with my back and legs not working. I like to soak up the heat, and I'm getting brown. I'm starting to get good brown. So, but that's where we're at, and like where we used to live. We did the same thing with our clothes. We still do. We don't have a dryer other than a clothesline, and we wash the clothes in a bucket with the soap. My wife had a little wishy-washy machine. We have a good machine now, but she had a little wishy-washy. Our water bill was always around 200, 230 a month. Taxes were 100 pesos a year on the house. Just wasn't a big expense to live there. And when Duterte came in, a lot of the thievery stopped, which, it was all just dopers anyway. So, but since he's been in, I'm pretty happy about that. So, I love it here. If you think you give it a try, make sure you got an exit strategy or money to get out if you want to try it. But you could live here for 500 a month. That's for sure. So this is just Rick Shaw giving his 2 cents worth, and that leaves $499.98 left over. See you guys.